Every mom has done it, fair listeners. You see a video online, you laugh out loud, and immediately, what do? You send it to the group chat. But why is that exactly? Why do some motherhood moments spread like wildfire while others just don't? My guest today is Yuri Godinez, and you know her. She has over 8 million followers, and you have absolutely shared or saved one of her videos, or probably 10 of her videos. Whether she's playing a character or recreating a painfully relatable mom moment or sharing what life looks like just weeks postpartum, millions of moms have watched her videos and thought, wait, that is exactly me. So, hi, Yuri. Welcome to the show. I'm so
Oh,
excited.
thank you for having me.
I have been a fan for many years. I got on TikTok during COVID, obviously, and started seeing all of your hilarious videos there. And I was like, this woman is a comedic genius.
Oh my gosh, thank you. That
I
is
I
talented
am
in me.
curious. Like today I want to talk about why moms can't stop sharing these motherhood videos and what they have taught us about modern motherhood. And like I have to know as we get into it, where do your characters come from? I know you do a lot of Kardashian stuff, but like are you secretly taking notes on everyone in your life or does your brain just work like this?
My brain just works like this, and I'm leaning more towards like creator-led content, and I'm realizing that a lot of these skits that I'm making, it's because I did it before in my life. So it's really not me observing another mom and seeing like, oh my God, like that would be funny in a skit. It's really the things that I do. And
Yeah.
then I'm like, I wonder if this will resonate with anyone. Like, does any other mom do this? And then it just hits with such relatability. And I'm like, oh my God, okay, I'm not the only one.
Well, it's like a magical superpower that you're able to tap into these really normal moments that like are so funny or so shareable. Like I'm very curious because I always do my best thinking in the shower or like when I'm taking a tub and where is your thinking spot? Like where do your ideas like hit you?
I think everywhere. I want to be inspired by everything. Everything I do, everywhere I go, even like when I'm interacting with other people, getting their thought processes and the internet as well. There's so many times where I'm engaging with like other mom related content, and it's
Mhm.
things that I do at my house too. So it's like, man, it's funny how we all are kind of the same mom, or at least trying to. At least the initiative is there of like, I'm just trying to do my best as a mom.
Yeah, I understand. You just had a baby a couple weeks ago, so thank you for making time for us for the show. I know how hard it is to be in the newborn trenches.
Oh,
Um, this is your third baby. Can you sort of bring us up to speed on what your family looks like? And I'm just so curious for you to tell us about your career as a creator and kind of the evolution of that, because we have seen such a fantastic rise of creators over the past couple of years, and you are one of them. And it's a career. And I'm curious if you can just kind of give us the backstory of that.
well, since now that we're a family of 5, I really started my content creation when it was just me. I wasn't even with Kenny. I was like a beauty creator and I was on YouTube, and it was during the whole like beauty YouTuber influencer. If you weren't like a makeup creator, a makeup influencer, you really like influencing wasn't really a thing, and it's all on YouTube.
Totally.
And then when COVID hit, I started making dance videos on TikTok. I was that person just because I was
Really?
so bored. Yeah. And then I felt like we just needed some kind of comedic relief. COVID hit people like in such hard ways. And I felt like TikTok was so big because it was that creative outlet, and that was that humorous outlet to kind of like for a second just go somewhere else where it wasn't a terrible in the world.
Yeah.
It was like, I really think that people need comedic relief. I started rewatching The Kardashians, and I don't know, I just wanted to recreate it because the way I saw it back then was like such drama. And then when you see like real world problems, with something like COVID, it hits in a different way. And I really thought that reality TV is scripted, kind of like humorous, like for comedic content. So I just started kind of emulating the reality TV show, and it resonated with everybody, which is so crazy because before you used to think you were watching them and they were like, oh my gosh, they have so many issues. And then you grow up and you're like, wait a minute, these aren't really even issues. And then
Yeah.
so my content really evolved into motherhood content when I became a mom. And I was really looking for that relatability because motherhood can be so lonely. So yeah, and then now we just do parodies, reality TV, anything really funny, and then mom humor because we need that too in our lives.
Yeah. I'm curious about the business of content creation because I do some creator stuff, but I own and operate Love Wellness, and that's my primary job. But I'm on the internet, of course, and I know how it works. But when did that start to really pick up steam for you? I'm so curious because I talk to creators and their experience coming into it's not even really Hollywood anymore. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
it's it's like its own industry within entertainment, and I'm just curious what that experience has been like for you. Like, when did you feel like, okay, I have like hit it big and this is a real opportunity for me to pursue?
Yeah, I think I struggled with imposter syndrome for a really long time until agencies would reach out to me and say, "Hey, we would love to represent you. Let's talk, numbers and splits for content." And coming from someone that used to do this for free, not even get PR, I
Right.
would just like I would just like work really hard, and make some money, and like buy my own beauty products and do a review on it, get like 10 views. So when the traction started going and this evolved into a business, for the longest time, it's like this imposter syndrome, like, oh my gosh, like, this is people are really like, this could really be something bigger. It's, it, I think I struggle with it because I still struggle with it because I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this brand knows me. I can't believe this brand commented under one of my videos. But I think it's really grounding as well to see how far we've come with like creating content. And in this world back then, this wasn't a thing. Like you couldn't, influencers or content creators, a lot of brands weren't putting a bunch of money into like their marketing campaigns to hire influencers to do things like this. But it's a
Yeah.
lot of fun. Sometimes it could be a little challenging with the kids because you want to make sure they're still having fun. And I never want to stress my son out, and I don't want him to I don't want him to feel like it's a business either. So anytime I'm filming with him or creating content with him, it's fun, it's a joke, and he rarely, like, he knows the camera's there, but he rarely really feels like it's work.
Yeah. Well, I think it's really interesting the rise of the creator and kind of the fall of like the mega celebrity. Like, is Tom Cruise relevant anymore? I don't know. I can name like five creators that are
Right.
far more relevant, at least, to a millennial, to a Gen Z, to a Gen Alpha, right? Our the way that we feel about creators is also totally different than the way that we feel about celebrities. It feels like we know you to a certain degree. And so the relationship is so much more authentic and so much more entrenched. And I think that's why it's really working for people. Um, when you go out in public, like, do people say hi to you? Are you comfortable with that? I'm always curious about that too.
I am comfortable with that. Before, oh man, I don't know if I've ever said this, but before when I was doing my, Kardashian parodies,
Mhm.
when people would approach me, it was always about the character. It was never about Yuri. It was always about, "Oh, can you say this in your Courtney voice? Can you say this in your Kim voice?" Like,
Right.
and I get that people loved the videos, but it became a little bit disappointing because I realized my audience didn't love me for who I was. And I think that's what started this evolution of like, okay, let's show them who Yuri is. They fell in love with Yuri, the comedic creator. Now let's have them fall in love with Yuri, the mom, the person, just the girl.
Yeah, the
And
real person.
yeah, and now before I didn't feel very comfortable. I used to say it felt like on Finding Nemo when they're like, "Oh, you're a clownfish. Say something funny, like make us laugh." And I used to like even if people didn't even put that pressure on me, they would be like, "Oh my gosh, you're that comedic parody creator." Da, da, da. And I was like, "Yeah." And like I'm waiting for them to ask me to make a joke, and it was like, "Oh my god, I got to make them laugh," and this and that. But now I love it because people come up to me. I've had people just say, "Oh my gosh, hi, how are you?" And I've
Mhm.
never met them in my life. And I think that that's a milestone and an achievement because that's what we're trying to do. I want my audience to feel like I'm talking to you as you're my best friend. We're chatting it up. We're in the bathroom doing glam, makeup, skincare. Like we're just talking, you and me connecting. And I think that in the world of like the now with the AI generated things and videos and simulations, people crave that connection, that intimate connection with someone, that personal connection with someone.
Yeah, I agree. What's cool about being a creator is that you really get to like determine your own destiny. You know what I mean? And I felt that way coming off of reality TV when like Instagram started to kind of pick up steam in like 2016, 2017, and even YouTube because I did some beauty stuff and a lot of cooking stuff. And I thought, well, I don't have an executive producer at this point deciding in some back room what my story arc is going to be and like where I'm going to turn into the bad guy or the good guy. I get to be my real self now and put my real self out there, and people can take it, you know, for what it is. I'm curious when you're thinking about your content, you know, when you look at sort of like your library over the last few years, is there a video that you almost didn't post because you thought that this is way too niche and it became one of your biggest videos?
Yes. I would say when the honest kid, when your kid says like the most honest things or they're very literal about things. I I went to the store, went to this, I don't know if you guys have like a CVS, but it's kind of like a Rite Aid here in Florida.
Yeah.
It's like a pharmacy store, CVS. And my child told everyone that we went to CPS, which is like Child Protective
Protective
Services.
services.
And I was like, oh my gosh, I wonder if other kids do this. And the way that that was so relatable, there's so many people, those videos always go like mega viral because it's just so relatable. And I love moments like that because you think that you're doing this alone and you're really not. Kids are so funny. I love how like honest they are.
My daughter's not even close to verbalizing yet, but I can't wait. And like I love those videos. They totally resonate because I think they're just so charming and funny. Oh my God.
Yeah, kids in general. I just think I love that they're like their pure spirit and they're just honest and they're not doing it for the camera.
Yeah, 100%. Do you feel like you have a parasocial relationship with your following? Like your comment section is kind of like one giant group chat. Do you know what I mean?
Hmm.
What do you feel like, um, what do you feel like is the biggest thing that you've learned from the moms in your comment section?
I've learned a lot. I've learned about delivery. I've learned a lot about myself too. I am always open to comments and I do read them, even if they're negative. But there's so many times where the delivery was perfect to where I was able to learn something as a mom. I remember the one of the latest things I learned, I was doing a prank on my son and I posted the video and there was several mean comments about like I can't believe you would do this to them and then like I didn't really understand that they didn't understand it was a joke, but then there's mothers in the comment section that say a very lightheartedly and like just warm and empathetic. They're like, your child doesn't know this is a joke. And that totally resonated with me. I was like, oh my gosh, they're right. So I love the comment section. I know sometimes it could be negative, but I learned so much from the community. And I love to learn and I love seeing things from a different perspective.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think the TikTok comment section is probably the most interesting slash scary place on the internet because they're not afraid to tell you.
Yeah.
But they're also not afraid to overwhelmingly like stand up for what is right and good. I'm always really impressed by that piece of the TikTok comment section for the most part. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. Before people weren't questioning, and this is why I love like Gen Z because they question everything. I know sometimes it might go a little too far, but but they've normalized questioning everything, and I think that that's something that millennials are missing. Our parents would just tell us something is the way it is, and we would just keep it at face value and be like, okay, well, that's what it is. We never thought to question it. And a lot of times, if something negative is happening in my comment section, someone and multiple people will come in and say, hey, well, you don't know the other side of the story. And
Right.
that's something that I always appreciate Gen Z for because it's taught me to rewire to question everything now, where we can find comfort in a small 15-second video, even if it's negative, because you don't know what that person's going through or, that's their truth and we can let them live in their truth.
Yeah,
And
that makes a lot of sense to me. Um, I appreciate the comment section for the most part. Sometimes I get a little fiery, but
yeah, now
I also have like been
Facebook,
I'm
Facebook
also
is
postpartum,
a
so
whole different monster. Like comments on Facebook, they're just mean, but they're just boomers and like people that are older that just are stuck in like one way. I don't think I read the Facebook comment section, but if I'm putting it on a tier, I would say Instagram has the most supportive comments.
yeah, it's a different demo everywhere. So today's episode is brought to you by one of my faves right now, Bon Charge, and I've talked about them before on the show. They make wellness tools that are actually backed by research instead of just vibes. You know what I mean? They make blue light blocking glasses, red light therapy, circadian lighting. All of it is built around how your body is supposed to function, which is really not how most of us are living these days. And the product that I love from Bon Charge is their red light face mask. I wear this all around the house almost every single day because you can just put it on and go. You could do the dishes with it on your face. And here's my situation. I'm 7 months postpartum. I'm still not sleeping great every single night, and my skin really knows it. And, a 9-step skincare routine at this point is just, it's a lot for me, right? I'm getting up early with the baby. I have maybe like 5 to 10 minutes max of skincare application time. But I do have a lot of time where I'm folding laundry or I'm doing dishes, whatever. And so I throw on the red light face mask. It only takes 10 minutes. I literally just put it on when I'm like answering emails. Red and near infrared light go deep enough to support that elasticity and even out the tone that I'm looking for in my skin. And I really look like I slept even when I did not. Free shipping on this product, a 12-month warranty, and it is HSA and FSA eligible. So go to boncharge.com, use code GOODMOM, and you're going to get 15% off anything that you buy. That is BONCHARGE.com with code GOODMOM. Today's episode is brought to you by Honest, and I love Honest. I've spent more than 10 years running a wellness company, which means that I read ingredient labels for a living. I honestly did not expect that habit to follow me straight into new motherhood. But of course, there I was, 2 in the morning, turning over a package to check what was actually in it before I put anything onto my daughter. And like, I should have realized that earlier on when I was pregnant that I would be label obsessed. But yes, I am absolutely label obsessed, and maybe even more label obsessed with everything that I get for baby. And that is truly why I appreciate what Honest is doing so much. Honest created baby essentials made for life's most delicate skin, and they hold every product to their highest standard, which they call the Honest standard. They are so, so thoughtful about the ingredients they put in and the ones that they leave out. I'm so big on the ingredients they leave out because I love that philosophy and practice that philosophy at my own company. And their baby products are hypoallergenic and dermatologist tested. We go through the clean conscious wipes faster than anything else in our house. If you have a baby, like, the wipes are so, so important. And I have packs of clean conscious wipes everywhere, in the baby's bedroom, in our car, in my purse, in the diaper bag, at grandma's house. They are all over the place. And the Bath and Body products have become a part of our baby's evening routine. She knows when she gets in that bath that she's getting a really nice, comfy little soap time and a little nice, comfy moisturizer afterwards. And our bedtime routine is just like so nice and easy now. Just a couple of reasons why I love Honest. Honest, the mother of all standards. Shop Honest on Amazon, Walmart, and Target. So you're a mom of 3. How has like your motherhood experience been? Because I know it's so different for everybody. It can be so beautiful, it can be so wonderfully happy, it can also be super challenging. And having 3 kids in this day and age is like, that's a big family. And I'm just curious, how has your experience the past few years been?
Well, with each child, I would say it's different. And then I feel like you never forget who you were in those moments. So living now and today, like in today's world, I think of how I was with my first son when he was 2 months old. Like I didn't know anything. I was working on like my patience, and I would get frustrated with myself, and I would question myself a lot. And then with my second son, I think I went to work too quickly, like right away. I was just ready
Yeah.
to just go back to work, and then find myself, because I was just so like knee deep into motherhood
Yeah.
that there was some sort of disconnect. And then now with this baby, I just feel like I love him so. I mean, of course, I love all my kids, but this one I'm just embracing postpartum a little bit more, especially because I know this is my last baby. So I
Yeah.
don't know. They always say there's something about your first baby and something about your last baby, but you can never neglect your middle baby. So it's me just trying to navigate and keep like that relationship, a positive relationship with each child, and giving them that time, and also giving myself time too. So during the day, it's me time. And then when the kids come home, we shut the laptops, we don't work anymore. So they just have all of who we are. It's very, very busy, where people like, I feel like mothers, it's hard for moms to like turn off the chaos. So like you're home, there's so much chaos going on. And then you go out to like a tea and biscuit time with your girlfriends, and it's like super quiet. It's like the brain is just not functioning, that it's like a different environment. But it's really fun. It's challenging. It's fun. There's surprises every day, and they're just growing. So it's like you want to stay in the motherhood as much as possible.
Yeah. Do you think that, because I think about this myself a lot as I think about having more children, do you think that already going through the ups and downs better prepared you for your third, and that's why you can enjoy it like a little bit more? You like already know it's going to be hard. You already know you're going to sleep less. Have already felt that. And because of that, you're able to take those lessons into the experience and be like, you know what? No big deal. Like this is for a couple days or a couple weeks and then it changes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Especially with even with my older kids, it's like I know I'm not going to be able to sleep. Even when they're away at college, I'm not going to be able to sleep. I'm definitely not gonna be able to sleep if they're like not living in my house, like under my roof anymore. So it's just the accepting that you're in the trenches for the rest of your life, and taking all the good with it. As soon as you make your peace with the chaos and make your peace that you're not going to sleep, you're probably not going to shower every day, you're going to be in constant anxiety worry mode, like then I think you can live a little.
Yeah. Is there anything that you thought in your motherhood journey so far that at the time you thought was a personal failure, but actually you realized is just a rite of passage for all moms?
I would say the mom guilt, and a lot of moms struggle with self-care, and making time for themselves, and making sure that they're good. It's that rite of passage of like you're going to feel that with your first child. You're not going to want to put him down. You're not going to think anyone's good enough to take care of him. And then your third child, you know how to step away for 5 minutes just to brush your teeth, and you don't feel guilty about it. And it really, really sucks. But by the time you're at your third child, you know that you're going to bond with your child no matter what. Like you're gonna bond with him. He loves you. He only has one mom. So it's like that self-care is just so important, because you can show up for them 10 times better, and be more present if you just took the time to self-care. I know everyone's situation is different. Obviously, some people have large villages, some people have no villages. And but if you're a third time mom, you're going to find that time, because it's just like you had mentioned, like it's just that rite of passage. And you go back and think of like, oh, when I had my first kid, how was I not doing this? But it's that mindset switch that you just have to go through.
I
Just
was going to ask you like what changed in your brain when you went from I have to give absolutely everything right now to, you know what, I need to start taking care of myself to be better present, and I know that that bonding with my kid is going to happen. Like what happened? What does that look like for you? And how do you like continually like do that over time?
Yeah, for me, I lived it. So with my second child, I had no idea what a postpartum doula was. And it's crazy that I didn't know, but I learned about a postpartum doula, someone who will come to your house and take care of take care of you as well as take care of your baby, take care of the mother's needs, mother the mother, I would say.
Hmm.
And that's when it clicked to me, like, oh my goodness, postpartum is not paid attention to enough. Like there's so many times where the focus is on the baby, the baby, the baby. When you are able, financially able, or a doula is accessible to you, when you start seeing that you feel better, and you want to, you're more like excited about, I would say, the day, or like when you can just enjoy your life just a little bit more, because you have a little bit more like self-care time,
Right.
is I that's when it really clicked to me, and I was like, okay, I get it. If you look good, you feel good, you want to go out and hit these challenges. But if you're constantly neglecting your needs, it's not going to resonate the same way. You're going to feel like you're in a survival mode.
Yeah. What specifically has your doula done for you? You talk about mothering the mother, but what does that look like in practice? Because I didn't have a doula, so I'm really curious if you can kind of explain that.
Yeah, I didn't know what a postpartum doula was either. But my doula, she was really just like, what is it that you want? If you want, I can take the baby for you. If you want, you can keep your baby and I can do what you need me to do. They will cook for you. They'll draw you a bath, like, or they'll take the baby. So you could do those things. And just having that village of help, even if she was just one individual. So like she really helped me go through all of that, and also educated me in a way that was not really like a class, like you're sitting in a class. She would talk to me and tell me, how are you feeling today? And if I'm feeling down, she'll tell me, well, postpartum, it takes like 6 months to a year for a
Mm,
woman to really feel like she's back to herself. And that's just the beginning of it, the postpartum. And she really educated me on the body, and she helped navigate conversations between Kenny and I, because as a guy, you don't really know how postpartum affects your wife, your
yeah.
your partner. So I really think that help was it just kind of like helped in my head to think more for myself.
That's really interesting. Is a doula different than a baby nurse? Because we had a baby nurse, but it seems like the doula takes care of you and the baby.
Yeah, the doula mothers the mother. And a lot of times people aren't like knowledgeable on a postpartum doula. And I'm not sure about a baby nurse, but a doula is not what a nanny is. And a nanny will, take care of the child, but my doula was like, um, lactation certified, so she helped me like with my milk.
Mm.
Um,
She
she
really
just
took care of you.
Yeah, she really took care of me, and it allowed me to take better care of the baby.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Wow. Have been seeing a couple posts recently about some insurance companies even starting to cover some of this postpartum support, whether it's a baby nurse, whether it's a doula. And I know for a lot of people, this kind of support feels really far out of reach, especially for people who have a small village. They don't have a lot of people that they can rely on. So I would definitely recommend, like, if you have insurance coverage, like looking into this to see what kind of support you can get. I'm curious. I want to take this in a different direction for a second. Um, so I'm convinced that the aliens are coming soon. This is
Oh,
such a hard
really?
left
Hang
turn.
on.
I'm
Really?
convinced that, like, well, I don't know. Like, you read the news, and like the Pentagon and the White House is like, yeah, the aliens are here and they're living amongst us. Like the, the army or whatever, the military has put out all these videos of like all the like alien ships or whatever. And I'm curious, like, if the aliens were watching you as a mom for a day, like, what do you think would confuse them the most about your life?
Oh, man, I would probably say, like, my mood switches, things that I just allow. Like, if someone throws, like, pasta on the floor, I'm pissed off, but my kids have, like, you should see their room, it's such a mess, and I'm not overstimulated that way. Like, my life is just not a blanket statement. Everything is like a case by case basis. So sometimes I'll freak out and sometimes I won't. It's very much like every day is something new, I would say.
Yeah. I think I'm like very curious because I think that there are a lot of unhinged things that moms do, but it's like a form of like release or control. And it's interesting that you talk about kind of like the mood switching because I find myself doing that also. Like, why do you think that we do this? Do you think it's like a coping mechanism?
I think it's a coping mechanism. And it's also, you don't want to fight with your child 24/7.
Right.
Sometimes you look at them like, this is my friend. This is my bestie. We're going out to lunch. Like, let's just do fun stuff. One of the most unhinged things I probably did, and Kenny would be so mad. We went to Sprouts. We went to his grocery store and they have like these candy bins where you like scoop out the candy.
Yeah.
So my son was putting candy in the bag and one fell on the floor. And he grabbed it from the floor. He's like, "Can I eat this?" And I was like, "Yeah," just to see if he would eat it. And he ate it. And I was like, "Gross." But it's like I let him eat it and then I think it's so gross, but it's like I don't know, man. That was really unhinged. I was like I really should never do that ever again. But sometimes it's like will he eat it? Like sometimes he'll like put weird things in his chocolate milk and I'm like is it good? Oh my gosh, he eats raspberries, like he puts ketchup on his raspberries and he eats it. And I let him. Sometimes Kenny will be like, "You're not supposed to do that," but I'm looking at him like, "Is it good? Like, do you like that?" And he likes it. So I don't
That's
know. I think
funny.
it's so unhinged, but it's them learning and having their own processes. I think I don't know. I could be scarring them for life, but that's just what.
I don't think you're scarring them for life. I think like I see my daughter start to like really come alive and it's so much fun and she's starting to play and I talk to my husband about this a lot. I'm like, I can very clearly see that we get to experience childhood again, through our child. And so I actually think that those like unhinged kid moments make all of this so much more fun and interesting. And like that's the stuff that honestly I feel like I'm going to look forward to the most. It's just like a kid being a kid. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's also moments where you're like, man, my mom would never let me do that. Like
Yeah.
me and my friend were talking recently and she's like, "Do you ever remember your mom like playing on the floor with you?" And I'm like, "No." And I do that with my kids all the time. So it's just us wanting to be kids again also. I think
Yeah.
this generation of mothers really understands the importance of being present with your kids.
Yeah. I completely agree. I think that's part of why your content resonates so much too, right? Like you are willing to have fun, you're willing to be serious, you're authentic, like you share so much of your life and it's so multifaceted. And I think that is a big reason why your content resonates so much, right? It like does something in the mom brain that it's like, I know her, she's me, that's my exact experience.
Yeah, I love making those videos and creating that content because I don't want to feel alone. And then when I
Mhm.
feel validated, it does for me what it does for them what it did for me about feeling validated and saying like, "Oh my gosh, this is me. I How did you take this video? How did you take this video from my house? Like, how did you take this footage?"
Support for today's episode comes from Square. I'm a huge fan of Square as a business owner. You guys know that I own my business, Love Wellness, and I have a couple of other things that I do on the side. Starting a business is so fun, but running one is where it gets complicated. And I say that as someone who has been doing it for over a decade. Payments in one system, you have your inventory in another system, you have your payroll somewhere else, none of them talking to each other. That is how mistakes happen. And that is how you end up staying late, fixing something that should have just like taken 5 minutes. But Square puts it all in one place. And it's like really easy and fun to build if you're that kind of person, if you're a business owner. You can take payments in person, online, or on the go using Square. Your inventory and sales are tracked automatically using Square. Your team schedules, real numbers on what is actually making you money, all on Square. Also, the best part, there are no contracts, no hidden fees, and no IT guy required. I notice it as a customer of businesses that use Square also. I was at the farmers market last week, and the farmers that use Square at the farmers market are honestly the places that I do business with because it is just so much easier to check out with them, right? I go, I get the vegetables and the fruit and the pies and whatever it is that I want. I walk up to the front, and those businesses that use Square at the farmers market, fast checkout. The receipt is in my inbox. Loyalty points I did not have to ask for at the farmer's market. It's so cool. Right now, get up to $200 off Square hardware at square.com/go/goodmom. That is SQUARE.com/GO/goodmom. Get up to $200 off Square hardware when you sign up at square.com/go/goodmom. I kind of want to talk about your shift in content because you started to create content that is like really authentic and super honest. And I'm curious what inspired that shift. And I have to imagine that there's an element of bravery required because any mom that goes on the internet and says, this is hard, feels like they question whether they should put that video up or not. Do you know what I mean? Because it's supposed to be sparkly and smiley and perfect. And like the moms know it's not. And so it's really an act of bravery. And can you talk to me about that a little bit?
Yeah. Well, with the shift in content, because I was doing a lot of comedic parodies, I just kind of wanted to feel more connected after I had my son. And motherhood can make you feel very lonely, even in a room full of people, because mothers are mainly like just in their head, like overthinking about everything. So I think that was the main shift in it. But I've always been an open person and I've never been one to sugarcoat anything. And I think it was that desire and just such eagerness to feel seen and heard that I would post these videos, not even thinking that it was like negative. Now, I could be setting myself up because in the future my kids are going to grow up, right? And their mom's on the internet, right? So who knows what the culture is going to be, years from now, what's going to be culturally acceptable, what's going to be socially acceptable, like in the future. And some of my videos might come back and bite me in my butt, but I'm ready to have those conversations with my kids. So it's always thinking about the longevity, because like, how will this video resonate in 10 years?
Yeah.
But thankfully, every time I share something vulnerable, my audience just gives me that safe space to continue to talk about it. Even with my recent series with my tubal removal, there was a lot of negativity, mostly positive, but of course we harp on the negative. And
Yeah,
there's
of
so
course.
much, there's so much that I love to learn. And there's so much more that I want to share because I've created this outlet for women to speak on it. I had no idea that women getting their tubes removed was so, like, that so many women did it and so many women have done it. It's crazy. I would have never thought. I thought it was really rare. And that's how it starts. Sometimes I think I'm sharing this experience because it's like, do you guys feel this way too? And there's such a community of people that feel the exact same way.
Yeah, I have been talking about how I have postpartum plantar fasciitis on my channel, which is like gross and hysterical at the same time. And I asked my followers for advice recently because I was like, all the normal stuff isn't working for me. And everyone in the comment section was like, it's connected to your pelvic floor. Like your fascia is disrupted when you have a C-section and it's all connected and you need to do pelvic floor therapy to get rid of your foot problem.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't
Yeah.
that crazy?
Yeah, it's crazy how people just know, and you reach out thinking like, you kind of ask, but of course you're going to ask your doctor, and of course you're going to ask your OB, and of course you're going to
Totally.
seek like professional advice. But there's nothing like the community who have gone through it and have seen it firsthand and have experienced it. And then you realize how many people, like how relatable this is.
Well, I also think, and we talk about this a lot at Love Wellness, that, doctors, like, they have their focus, right?
Mhm.
And oftentimes in the United States, like, your foot doctor is not necessarily going to connect your foot problem to like your pelvic floor issue. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And so crowdsourcing support in this way can actually be a really interesting way to try to solve problems. Not that I'm like recommending that you don't go to the doctor, but
Right.
The New York Times actually did a really interesting documentary on this specific thing. They had all of these people that had mystery medical ailments, and some were like pretty chronic and severe, and doctors couldn't figure out what was wrong. And so the New York Times helped these people like share their stories to try to crowdsource opinions on what these things could be. And they ended up, through the crowdsourcing of comments, figuring out what was wrong with the majority of these patients. And they were typically like super niche, like genetic issues, but it was fascinating to me. And like it's happening in the mom group chat in the comment section every single
That's what the
day.
comment section is. It's
Totally.
and other women have found their answer to like their questions or their concerns under the comment section of one of my videos. And that's what, to me, that's what matters. To
Yeah.
me, if I could help someone like that, then the video was worth it.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Okay, so we have two group chat questions from the people that watch the show, and both questions are about stuff because we love stuff. Moms love stuff.
And
Kids need kids need a lot of stuff.
yeah,
So the first question is, if you had to put together a mom starter pack for a person who is about to be a new mom, what are the 5 things that you would put in the starter pack?
new mom, like diapers, wipes, like
No, no,
that
no.
stuff.
Stuff for the mom.
Oh, stuff for the mom.
Yeah. What are you putting in your first time mom mommy starter pack? 5 items.
Lip gloss, because your lips are always going to be dry. I would say a deodorant, because I don't know why you're just going to smell.
Did
And we
did you
love
have
it.
did you have crazy night sweats after all of your babies?
Oh my gosh. This last one, it was insane. I would be so drenched in, and I'm like, what is going on with me? Yeah, it was the night sweats. It's
So yes,
like,
deodorant for your night sweats.
please, deodorant next to your counter, like not even in your bag. Like you need like 5 of them just to have one, like everywhere. Definitely water bottles, stay hydrated. Like you're never going to drink enough water, whether you're breastfeeding or not. Like your body's just going through it, however you deliver that baby.
Yeah. Oh my God. I just remembered how thirsty I was, like immediately postpartum. You're so thirsty and you're so hungry. I already forgot.
Yeah, yeah, you forget. And I would say, man, I would say a journal just so you can write things down, because when you get out of the trenches, you realize like these things that felt so big are actually really funny. And they're not that big.
Yeah. Well, I
So,
also think in the moment too, like it can be really hard, and journaling just to like get the energy out of your body can be really helpful, like in that crisis moment.
yeah, in therapy, they always recommend like write it down, keep a journal about how you feel. And a lot of times I make a hit list of like things that pissed me off. Um, so then I go back to it, and when I'm not so pissed off, and I'm like, yeah, I definitely overreacted.
LOL.
Like, oops.
Okay. Do you have a final item?
My final item, probably a camera, because no one's going to take pictures of you, unfortunately. So just take pictures of you and your baby, and then you'll realize just how tiny they were. Just for the memories, whenever you're ready. You're probably not ready right now, because you're just a new mom and you're not living in the moment, but take that picture, man.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, you should take the camera and you should assign the job to your partner and be like, your job is to take pictures of me and this baby, because moms do a very good job of taking pictures of everyone else in the family. But that at the end of the year, they're like, wait, where are the pictures of like me and my baby?
Yeah, maybe, and they're just non-existent because you were busy. Like you were busy, the one behind the camera.
Yeah. Okay. The next question, what are the 5 items that your baby does not need in year 1?
Okay, your baby does not need warm baby wipes.
I
Sorry.
agree.
You do not need warm baby wipes. You also don't need a crazy diaper pail until they start eating solids. So I feel like their like poops and like whatever they release is like it does not that smelly.
It's
It
not that big a
just,
deal until they turn into like real turds.
yeah, until it turns into like real food, until the baby starts eating like real solids, like then don't even worry about it. Like the poops, they're fine. What else do they not need? Probably don't need teethers. Well, actually, they do need teethers. What is something they don't need? I don't know. I feel like they need everything.
You're an experienced mom, so you have forgotten what they don't need because you don't buy that shit anymore.
I know, literally. I'm just like, we're just gonna go with the fly. Like, I would probably say like their own little towels. They don't need their towels. We can use adult towels. It's
That's
like,
true. They don't need their own specific little baby towels, cute as they are.
yeah, as cute as those things are, like they don't need that. They don't need shoes, girl. Don't put those shoes on them. They hate the shoes.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I would just say those things.
That's a really, really good list.
Mhm.
What are you working on next?
Well, I'm working on a lot of things. I love my comedic parodies, so I'm always trying to do anything to elevate my characters. I want to get into like improv acting because I really think that will help with all of my like creative writing and doing a podcast. I was looking into doing like a bomb podcast, but there's just so many things I want to talk about in life, like
Yeah.
aside from being a mom, and it's just like when you're in the thick of motherhood, motherhood is your thing.
Yeah.
When you start working on like self-care and finding out who you were before motherhood, it's kind of you fall in love with that person again, to where it's like, man, there's so much more to me than just motherhood. So it's like, I don't know. I wonder what this podcast will be about.
Motherhood plus.
Yeah. I love a good girlhood moment though. Like girls, like girl code, all of that. I think it's just so funny and it's so needed in the world, especially with mothers, because as moms, you forget that you're just a girl, you know?
Yeah, we need community and we need LOLs in our life to get through.
Yeah, to remember like, hey, like you're also like your own person. Even for women that love being moms, like there's women that just love to be mothers. You're
Yeah.
also just a girl.
Yeah. I agree with you so much. I think my biggest takeaway so far is that when it comes to motherhood, womanhood, girlhood, we're all just the same at the end of the day. And I think
Yeah.
that's why your content resonates so much.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think so too. And I always want people to feel heard and seen, and because I didn't always have that. So like anything that I can do to make people laugh and feel seen and understood and accepted in what they decide to do with their lives and their kids and their families. I always want to be that safe space for them. I'll never be one to judge. I've done it all.
That's very kind. Where can our listeners find you? They probably already follow you, Yuri.
I hope they follow me. So I'm at Yuri Lamasbella on Instagram, on TikTok, on basically all the social media platforms, even on Snapchat, WhatsApp, YouTube, all of that. Yeah, just me and the kids.
I love that. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show today. You're a good mom. Thank you for your time and congrats on the new baby.
Thanks. You're such a good mom too. Thanks so
Oh,
much. This was
thanks.
a lot
That's
of
so
fun.
nice.